everyone. Today I'm going to do a brief technique tutorial showing you how to color a tombstone or a gravestone with alcohol markers, which in my experience is the best medium to create the kind of effect and look you want to really get on a tombstone. And we're going to be using my Ohuhu koala markers, which is a set that has kind of unique edges. They have two different sets. You can also use any alcohol marker that you want to have a gradient of colors. And the cool gray line from black to a dark gray, a little bit lighter, all the way to a pale gray, along with an alcohol marker blender. So for my koalas, you know, for example, I have this cool gray 82. I have a cool gray 51, cool gray 43. And the way to really tell is you need to get a piece of test paper like I did here, and you know, take 5 or 6 grays that are cool grays or look darkest to lightest. Make sure they're in the cool family, not the warm gray, and maybe even a little bit from the neutral gray, and test them all out and then reline them up on your table from the darkest to lightest. And that's the order you'll work in to create this effect, starting with the black all the way down to the alcohol marker blender on the far end. All right, so, and you do need a variety of colors to really get this effect. The lightest gray is to help with blending as a final kind of color immersion right before using the blender. I'm just going to double test. I didn't actually reline them up in the wrong order because you want to definitely go from darkest to lightest. All right, now we're good here. Good. So, good. Okay, so we're going to be calling in Mardel Rubio's Color Your Fright. It's my absolute favorite Halloween book. It's out of print. It's hard to find. I got it on eBay for like $1 bazillion last year. Did quite a few pictures. This book is amazing with alcohol markers. So here's one I did last year, for example. Little tip. Even though I had a divider page, I closed the book before it was fully dried and stored it all year. And then I opened it this season the other day and found this. So now I have to go over that with colors that will hide that. But I always try to store a piece of tracer paper that's kind of cut as a protector whenever I do alcohol marker pages. Okay, and so here's the page we're going to do. I've started on my gravestones already and made them a little darker than I normally do, but I'm gonna do 1 or 2 on camera so you can see what I do. There's that look there. It's definitely a little easier if you have a book that has a little bit of a cracked cement pattern in it already, like this. I know a lot of the Deborah Muller ones do as well, which works really well for gravestones. Grayscale is even easier, but this is line art entirely, so we don't have that really. And so this is pretty simple, and everyone's going to be a little different. The concept is you use the black to put in a little bit of the corners and kind of squiggle over a few of the cracks, right? Then you go over with the next one and you leave a lot of spaces here and there, kind of collaged for the lightest and lightest color, and then use the final light color to blend over everything. So it's kind of a process, and everyone's going to look a little different every tombstone you do. You don't have to use the black. I'll show you how it looks when I do use the black. We'll do one with or without. So the Ohuhu koalas are good because they have the chisel and the fine point. All right, here we go. I had to, got a phone call. Had to take that call. And then, that was 2 days ago. And then I had to get ready, everything for my surgery yesterday. And I had surgery just earlier today. So my voice is all messed up now from the tube they put in my throat. I'm just trying to keep busy, not think about it. I have another drain put in. It's a whole thing. All right. So what I think I was trying to tell you guys is for the little cracks on the tombstone, you can use a fine liner to put back over once you finish this part. This is a Pigma Micron. I do I think the 0.45 millimeter, which is super thin. It's really good for really thin eyelashes on small faces. Or my Le Plume, Le Pen black pen that comes from my Le Pen Flex set, which you can use for journaling too. This is a little thicker, but it'll work fine for like the width of some of these, and I'll show you that at the end. All right, so let's go ahead. I'm going to show you what I do. And I'm using a black and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 grays and a alcohol marker blender. And these are, again, the Ohuhu Kaalas. And you can use any series of grays, Ohuhu, Copic, it doesn't really matter. We'll start with this one here. And I'm going to take this chisel point in and kind of just do in a little bit of this black where you see some of these sketch marks here. I'm just going to dab at it a little. Down here. And with the wide tooth, then I like to take the pointed one and go over these in the bigger black. I'll use my fine liner because we want them to show, and it is going to get kind of blended in, but I am going to use my micron to make some other cracks. So I just kind of follow these. And this is optional. You can also use a dark gray instead of black for this step. So I don't know if you have general anesthesia, it messes with your eyesight, but everything has looked way darker in my house, even in this camera, than it did prior. Like I'm looking through the camera and I'm like, it's so dark. Is it? I don't think it's dark to other people. And my house looked darker. Everything looked darker than it did like this morning or yesterday. So I'm assuming general anesthesia or the meds they give you mess, the nausea meds mess, or the oxycodone messes somehow with your eyesight. Okay, so I did that. So this will be perfect. Take your dark gray, which is this is a dark cool gray, a BG. You can do blue cool gray or regular cool gray. And it's going to be lighter than the black. And I'm going to kind of squiggle over where we did the black up here. I'm just going to kind of work it in, squiggling it a little around the areas where we did the black at the base here. Here. Gonna go right over this black crevice. This is how we kind of soften it. Gonna go like that. A little bit more straight down the side, all the way down right there. Where that crack ends. Okay, let's get the next gray, which will look kind of like a medium cool gray. And I'm going to color in like just 1/3 of this whole top row here, this top section. I'm going to fill in some bottom parts, fill in some of these loop-de-loos, and I'm just going to kind of follow the pattern here of these other lines. I mean, it doesn't have to be a perfect pattern. You want it to look kind of cemented, as unnatural, you know. I added a few little lines here, went up a little ways. All right. Next. Let's go to this one. This is the next lightest gray. And we only have two lighter grays left still. So this one we're just kind of I'm just going to kind of follow along around the areas we did, around it. No specific pattern. Kind of just going over the areas. A little bit into this top part here. Okay, just kind of, it's going to look all like splotchy and not non-specific. But we have very, very light and a fairly light. So this is when we start getting most of the color in. So I'm going to just kind of blend in this in some areas here. It's the lightest one that's really going to tie things for us together. There we go. All right, bring a little middle. Okay, let's get our light. This is a very light. It almost looked white, and it's a cool gray number 41, but it would be probably like a cool gray 1 or something if it was a different brand or something. It'd be very light. You can see. And this is what I'm blending everything over. This Mardel Rubio's paper is almost like a watercolor paper. It's thick like a Bristol. A lot of pores in it. It's almost like the Copic marker paper that you can buy in the pack that I use for my Etsy and Patreon printables, but even a little thicker. It's like that texture, but it's cardstockish. Like way more thicker. I love it. But it's good for the blending. And really, all you have to do on this decent paper is, even if your first 2 or 3 layers are just dried, you just have to get the ink wet again with another blender, like a light blender or a lighter color, and it will start blending up again. Okay. Make sure I get all in up here. I'm going to go over a little bit. That's okay, because everything else is going to be dark, so it doesn't matter. And you can even take that second to lightest one we had just done, fill in a little more around the base if you find it, around the edges, I mean, if you find it too splotchy or whatever. A little bit more up here. But the point of the matter is, we're going to give it that faded aged look with the alcohol marker blender, the 0 colorless blender. That's when you get in and you really blend into your white, and it's going to create this kind of tie-dye-ish faded stone effect. And I can do one with you without the black. I often don't do black. I'm using black in this one because I wanted this picture to like match the sky. The sky is pre-shaded black, so I wanted some black in here to kind of accentuate that or accent it. So we'll do this other one too, and since that one's on the black, I might not do any black on that one. I'll just do gray, and we'll do the next one with you too. And you can use the same technique for rocks. A really alcohol blender, colors blender, getting that in there. And we also end up touching up with a white pencil once this dries. I'll show you after we do the next one. We'll come back to this and I'll show you what we do lastly with a white pencil and with that fine liner. Okay. So we are going over everything together, even the black stuff. All right, we're just gonna leave this, and if you find you don't like it's like too much gray here, you can put in your second to last gray over that a little, and then we'll just do the white. You can use that to blend it a little more right in any areas you don't like it. Okay. Now, let's do this one. I'm going to do that one without the black. Then I'm going to come back here and show you. We'll do the final details I was telling you about. So I'm going to skip the black for now. I'm going to go to the first darkest gray. So any dark gray. All right. So I'm going to do the same concept though. I'm going to just kind of use my chisel nib and tap in some color along these squiggle lines up here. I'm going to still follow the crease, or crack is it? I'm actually using my chisel nib, the pointed end, to do this. So I can get a little more color in. Let's follow this crack. And this is really just one of the quick, easy ways to do it. Alcohol marker, high quality, you know, ones with a blender work the best. I can show you how to do one with pencil if anyone wants to see. I just tend to always prefer to do mine with alcohol markers. But some books where I don't use alcohol markers, then yeah, I've had to, like the Deborah Muller books, I've had to use a pencil. God, man, I feel so dehydrated. My mouth and everything. Dabbing. What I had done is I had my expander put back in because I got the double mastectomy back in last March for my preventative BRCA gene. Got expanders put in at the time. Went in for 10 weeks. Got everything all stretched to the brand new cup size or whatever I wanted to be. And then like I was 3 days away from getting my final exchange surgery where they put in the final implants, and I got a wicked infection on the right side. They had to have an emergency surgery to go in and have them take out that expander. Now it's been flat on that side for 3 months. Finally today I went in and I got the expander put back in. I get to start all over again, re-stretch it to where it's supposed to be, and then another surgery in November to get the final implants put in. Let's hope I don't get another infection. That really sucked. Okay, here's the next lightest gray. It's still a little bit darker. But yeah, I'm kind of going to go around and over the line we followed to broaden the color, to fan it outward more. I'm going to trace down the line, bottom of these rocks, on these rocks right here. So yeah, the surgery was 2.5 hours. They had to cut me open and take out the expander and cut all the scar tissue. It's basically a reconstruction surgery is what it was. Or fixing an error from a former reconstructive surgery that went to crap entirely. I'm going to just add in like one of my own line or two here. Okay, let's go to, we have two little bit, you know, dark medium shade ones. So this is where I'm going to start going, following the pattern of the other cracks. Follow the pattern. I'm going to put in a little color right here in the center. You really just kind of keep playing with it until you get like a good look, basically. It starts to come together. All right. Let's add in, this is the final light color that isn't like the pale one. This is where we want to get most of our, use this for most everything else. This is going to go along the side because it's black here, so we wanted a lighter color next to the black, not the darkest color against the black. So I'm just kind of tapping it in, but I'm going to leave plenty of room for that light color. Okay, now the lightest color, the baby color I call it. Up here. And we're just using that lightest gray as the final gray that's kind of getting in there to everything. And then what I like to do, if I see some areas that I'm not as happy with, I take the one color that's a little darker than that, might color in some spaces with it. I don't like how it looks. Maybe I want it all darker up here, not all the way dark, but now that you can almost see that light through it, it looks almost speckled, like a gradient or like a tie-dye. Going down this side. Then I'll take that second to the light one again. Get a little bit of that in. Doing a few layers. Then that baby light. Sorry, I might shake my camera whenever I blend hard because my arm's moving fast. Trying to hold it down, hold my camera from shaking. All right, now alcohol marker blender. Woo! And let's do that same thing. Is it still wet? Oh, I gotta make sure it's wet enough. Just pushing it. Might have to get a different one, but let's try. Yeah, I'm starting to get some of that wrinkled cement look. It's got enough in it, I think. And then you can see the difference, the one that has the black and the one that doesn't. So I did no black on the ones that were on the black sky. So actually marble, that's the name I was trying to think of, like a, not a gradient, like a marble. It's like a marble effect. Cement marbling. Okay. Now, let this dry. I'm going to grab our white pencil. Any white pencil would be nice if I could find one. I didn't find my Prismacolor white, so I grabbed my Sioux Color white. I use it all the time. You can see that's why it's down so much, even though I've only used the set in 3 different tutorials. I'm going to use, and it's kind of flat from when I last used it, which is good, so you can get a better effect. You don't want it scratchy and pointy. I'm going to mostly color in some white where we did that blender where it was the lightest. I'm doing it softly. I'm not using like a lot of pressure or anything, and these waxy pencils are really good anyway. And I'm doing it kind of around some of the gray splotches so that it doesn't cover it up, and it sort of accent, gives it like a you know, like a complementary accent, so to speak. Let's see. Don't think my brain's working right. I know what I was trying to say, but it doesn't come out quite right. There we go. And I didn't actually do that yet to these two, but I was going to do that now with my pencil. Yeah, see what I'm saying? It's like, you can still see some of that speckled gray in there around it. And right there. And I can zoom in and show it to you all. There we go. I'm going to do a little on the edge here. It's a little good highlight. Okay. Good. So then, is this dry enough we can do it here? I think it's pretty dry. Let's do some here in the center side. This paper dries pretty well. Not as dry as it could be, but going light enough, it's probably fine. Just go very lightly. Chisel in some of this white. Up here. right, so it kind of gives it more of that marbling effect. So then we can use either of these two pens, the micron. I'll show you the difference. Like if you want to make your own, well, actually, I might want to keep this. Let me test something over here. We can even use this to decorate the tombstone and put a name on it, which I'm thinking we're going to do. Which means, but technically what I was saying is you can make your own like little cracks if you want with this pen. That looks pretty realistic, the micron. See how I'm doing that over here, for example? No non-specific patterns. Really makes it look more cracked up. Huh? Cracked up. I'm cracked up on drugs at the moment. Cracked gold. So we'll see. To be able to see that, I'm going to put on some tombstone lettering. That probably would be better for this one, but I want to double check. Let me put in a little crack or two here. Yeah, this is going to be better for the tombstone lettering, I think. So let's do that. I'm going to show you how to do a tombstone name. We're going to do right here. All right. So what I want to do then is we're going to write on the tombstone. Can I zoom in? Still looks dark to me. I don't, maybe it isn't. Okay, here we're gonna write with a black fine liner. Let's see, I'm gonna plot out. Gonna do like this one's calligraphy style here. Lies. Good. Old. Fred. You could do something like that. I did it quick because I'm not using my ruler. Here, let's go to old Fred. Rest in peace. Let's see. Let's do another funny one. How about, let's go over here. Let's do I tried to warn you. Rest in peace. I tried to warn you. R.I.P. Let's see what else. Let's do. Now, if you don't do the black, you can obviously see a little better. Let's do here. Lies. Drop. Dead Diva. We can put a year on there. 1893. We should put a year on this one. 1907. And we'll do 1885. Here lies Drop Dead Diva. Here lies good old Fred. I tried to warn you. R.I.P. Here's another one. Let's do this one. Let's do Eat. Eat healthy. Exercise. Hydrate. And die anyway. Which is basically the truth. Die anyway. I'm going to put 2005. 2005. Eat healthy, exercise, hydrate, die anyway. All right. So you kind of get the gist. You have other options too. You don't even have to do, this one obviously looks black, more black. I did a little too heavy right here, more than I meant to. I think these ones look better. You can skip even that darkest gray and go one less dark. There's a lot of things you can do, actually. So actually, since we're on camera, let's just do this next one. Why not? So I'm going to actually not do I'm going to only do the darker one around the frame, a solid color. Okay, so let's do like that. Let's do a dark one around the frame. Okay. And I'm going to go mostly around. I'll blend in one lighter gray into half this circle. And maybe I'll put in just here some dabs into the little squiggles here, but not in the center, so we can see the tombstone better for writing. I got a funny saying for this one. It just came to me. All right, so we're gonna actually start, we'll actually start with the third color we had. And I'm gonna kind of definitely go over these areas. I'm gonna kind of just follow these cracks here. So this is 2 shades lighter for an outline than the others we did. Get that in here a little more. Yeah, we do want a little bit of some lines, you know, we want it to look natural. Let's go to, we have 3 of the grays left. Let's get in this one. Let's do the rest of the outline on this circle. We're using a lighter color. Right. 2 more. This is our pretty light one. And then of course we get down to the baby light, the almost white baby light. And I'm just kind of getting some colors dabbed all in. Okay, and our last one. This is our baby one. I'm going to try to color in without shaking all the camera on you guys. That even is possible. To hold that, but I'm really getting that in with our light color, the lightest gray. And then we want to make our little marble effect. Now, since we have rocks here, I'm going to do the rocks in a warm gray, which has more of the brown tint gray, not the cold, cool, chilly, you know, graveyard gray, gravestone gray. So that you can kind of make them out from one another because they're so close together. I'm going to put a little bit of that dark color back in to fix this here. All right, now let's grab our colorless blender. I haven't used the pointy end yet, so I'm going to use the pointy end. The brush end, basically. Get our marbling effect going. There we go. It's kind of like the marbling effect emerges because when you run over this with the blender, it lightens. You know, we have different shades of gray, right? So the darker shades of gray will lighten, but the lighter shades will lighten too. And then you have several shades that lightened, but they're not going to be the same level of light because there were different colors to start with. So then you get like that marble look to it. Okay. That looks great. I actually didn't even do these ones. I'm just noticing now, darn it. Because I wanted to show you my funny saying I just came up with. Don't want to go over the black, but I can get a little bit of that in there around it. Lighten it up so you can see the letters better. All right, so I'll let that dry for a couple of minutes while we do this one real quick. And then this one, again, I will not use that darkest one. I'll use the second, the third from the black, or the second dark gray. I'm going to blend this way. Follow some of these lines here. Just need to touch up a little here. We'll touch up with our pen, or actually with our micron pen. All right, let's follow that. Super easy. Let's go into this second to lightest one. I had to pause it to get some water, but I went ahead and finished it off camera. I colored that one in the same sequence. This should be dry enough. I'm going to take my white pencil. Now get into some of these little white areas. Yeah, and this one has the most black because it's closest to her and closest, like, with the sky as a centerpiece. So I wanted all the colors to tie together, and I wanted it to look a little more like gothic and spooky. So I wanted a little more black to my gravestones, but it's definitely optional how dark you start with your darkest color. Getting this woven in, it looks nice. And I'll show you up close when you kind of marble it in, that effect you can get. Because I never did this one either. Add a little bit of white over here. All right, let's do up here. Looks good. So let's now write our next saying. So on this one, I'm going to write well, comma, that didn't go as planned. Damn. I'll put R.I.P. Joey 2020. Well, that didn't go as planned. Damn, Joey. How about on this one, let's just put oopsie. Oopsie daisy. Accident. R.I.P. Anonymous. It's oopsie daisy. So what I'm then going to do is take my little micron where you see all these little black dings. I'm going to just kind of blacken them up a little over, put them back in kind of like over the colors we did. Right around this center here. This is almost like eyelashes, like the eyelashes you put on small faces in your coloring books. That's why this black micron is amazing for that. I'll link this pen below. I do have the full micron set, which has multiple thicknesses. This is probably the most standard one I use for the most things, and also my set has different colors. I can show it to you right here. Hold on a second. I have the box right here, but yeah, I added a couple of my own. You can re-add over that crack. I'm adding a few more cracks. So wherever you saw them originally, just add some more of those, maybe. All right, so that's a gist of how I do gravestones with markers on appropriate paper. If you look close at like this one, see how it looks marbled a little bit? Or this one, you get that marbling effect. That's what I was talking about, how to get that look. In hindsight, I probably did a bad pattern on this one. I didn't mean to bring the black in like a circle because your eye kind of goes right to it. I did want some black on these, but if you want just the medium gray and lighter, just go with like what I did here or what I did over here. I cut the first two dark grays and just went with 3 or 4 of the lighter grays. there's a lot of, it's really pretty easy. The key essential trick though to a successful alcohol marker gravestone is that alcohol marker blender, and decent quality alcohol markers, Winsor Newton, Prismacolor, Ohuhu. You can use like a Prismacolor marker, a Chart Pack Ad Spectrum marker, Spectrum Noir. This is that Micron set I was telling you about here. This is the Zebra Pigma Micron pens. So you get all these different colors and different nib sizes. And the nib sizes include, some have chisel, a bullet, brush, 12 millimeter, 10, 5, 3, 2, 1, all the way down to the tiniest, which is a 0.3. I think I was using the 33 millimeter just now. But also they have them in some different colors, and they're really good for accents. You know, they don't bleed through unlike the alcohol markers. So I'm going to finish this page off camera. I'll put up a little picture of it, but I hope you guys enjoyed seeing my tombstones. You don't have to write on them either. You can just leave them blank. It's up to you. All right, thanks everybody. I hope this wasn't a really weird idea I came up with while I'm on drugs, but I had a good time. And this book is amazing. See you in the next video.